Hello and welcome. Saskia, devotional goddess here. When I got divorced, it's 8 years ago now, in 2017, I got a frozen shoulder on my right side, and I couldn't fully raise my arm up alongside my ear. It just got stuck here. And I knew immediately that it was due to the divorce. It was due to the little girl inside of me, the young woman inside of me, who was having a tantrum and saying, no, I want a man to take care of my health care, to take care of the finances, to take care of all those masculine things. I don't want to do this. And it was on my right side. The frozen shoulder was on the right side, and it really was this needing to balance out my masculine and my feminine energies within me. And I knew that it was all part of me needing to boss up on my masculine. You know, I wanted the fairy tale happily ever after in my marriage, and the stark reality was that that's not what it was, and that we weren't actually well suited, and we didn't bring out the best in each other, and we weren't happy. And honestly, our contract was to bring these two amazing, beautiful girls into the world that we brought into the world, that we created, that our union supported and created. But what did I do with that? I lent into my yoga. I worked with my breath. I did my utmost to be in my truth and to see the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it was. And for me in that moment, my truth was understanding that I needed to create greater balance within me, and that no relationship will ever do that for me, and that I had signed up to become more balanced in life and not allow myself to be handicapped within a relationship, or that I really chose and aligned to creating balance, witnessing where my masculine was wounded, witnessing where my inner feminine was wounded. And these last 8 years, I've really been working on centering through my breath, wanting to see the truth. And believe me, it can be really uncomfortable, it can be painful, and ultimately it is liberating. And through all that, to the best of my ability, to stay grounded and centered for my own health and well-being, and of course in turn for my 2 daughters. It was really important for me to stay as centered and grounded as I could, because my daughters, our children, ground through the divine feminine. They ground through us as women. And so do your partners. Whoever is the dominant female, be it biological or if you're in a same-sex relationship, who holds the divine feminine, that is what is going to be grounded through for the family, for the unit. And I knew that through my yogic practices, through my teachings from my teachers and my primary teacher. So I knew it was critical for me to stay steady within. Now, through my teachings over the years, this has really come through. And this has culminated into the workshops that I now teach and the retreat, the day retreat in June that I'm offering. Today is the last day of the early bird, and I highly encourage you to come. It is going to be from 10 to 4 p.m. and it is a day of being held in a sacred space. I create the sacred space. The location is a beautiful sacred space. And through the sequence of postures that I will be teaching, we will also bring in the emotional element that we will come. One aspect, one posture that we will focus on will bring about the witnessing of where our truth lies. The second posture that we will integrate and break down and hold will bring in the grounding. And then the third posture will incorporate our connection to our breath and how important that is for us to stay in our hearts, to stay centered, because life is uncomfortable at times. Life is challenging. Life is difficult at times. And in order for us to skillfully navigate through it to the best of our ability, our connection to our breath is really critical. So through these sequence of postures, I will also offer an integration of journaling with a series of questions so that you can draw inwards and cultivate and witness what arises so that you can have a strategy in how to move forwards from this point. We'll have a delicious vegetarian meal, followed by a walking silent meditation, outdoors if the weather permits, otherwise indoors. And then again, we'll revisit what it is that the morning practice brought to our awareness, and what are the strategies to integrate them and bring them into our lives to create grounding, impactful change. Now, often a small element of change can have large ripple effects. Just as when we throw a pebble into the water, we see that when the pebble drops into the water, it starts with a small droplet. And then the ripple effects become larger and larger within the surface of the body of water. And this is what our acts of change will have in our lives. Allow it to be small so that it can be manageable and that we can truly integrate it into our lives, and then come witness the powerful effects that it will bring about in changing your life for the better. Because there is focus, there is intention, and there is clarity unique to each student who comes to the workshop as to what their steps of change and refinement are to improve the quality of their life. We are each unique beings. We all have different medicine, be it herbal, be it pharmaceutical, be it acts of change. Medicine can even be witnessing our thought patterns and creating that change. So that is becoming an energetic medicine that we hone in to what we need. One of my colleagues at work, I'm so fond of this colleague. We have great chats, but 90% of the time she arrives at work and one of the first things that comes out of her mouth is, "I'm so tired." What we continue to say will become our reality. And if our programming, if our voices are constantly saying, if our intellect is constantly saying, and it comes out of our mouth, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start. Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, if we don't create change in disrupting our thought patterns and changing the structure of our lives, then change will not happen, and we will continue to walk around depleted, exhausted, and depleted. But simple acts of change will have powerful ripple effects in our lives, and that will begin to support you in creating the life that you truly desire. A happy life, a grounded life where you live with freedom, be it hopefully mentally, emotionally, and physically. All of those aspects. Yes, life has been difficult, but I still enjoy it. There have been some very big life transformations that I've had to navigate in these last 10 years. And they have been heartbreaking, they have been challenging, they have been incredibly taxing on my mental, physical, and emotional well-being. But I am content, and I am fundamentally happy. I had a lady come into the store where I work. For those of you who don't know, I work in a health food store as well, and I love it. And the lady was like, do all these herbs make you so calm working here? And I paused and I just looked at her and I was just like, I was a little baffled by the statement. And it wasn't until I reflected upon it and like, okay, what are the words around this? At the time I just, laughed it off a bit. But as I reflected on it and said, what are my words around this? The clarity came of like, no. I create the steadiness. I create the centeredness, the calmness within me. And yes, I may ingest herbs and I may take supplements to support that integral support within me, within my physical body. But it's also my decision making, my connection to myself that creates the calming, the steadiness within me. This is what I have governance over. And this is what I teach in all of my classes. Because we have more control, more, we have more governance over our bodies than we have been taught that we do. All right. Please join me on this wonderful retreat. I am so excited and passionate about teaching what I teach, and it would be my absolute pleasure for you to join me on this journey. All right, all the information is below, and please do share with anyone if you feel it may benefit or enrich their life. Much love and many blessings.